Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this morning or late this morning for a Okay to Man albums of 2021 so far video, and sorry that I look a little tired. I woke up like an hour ago, so I'm still trying to wake up a bit while drinking my coffee as well, which I'm gonna drink my coffee after this video. Which this is for the Okay to Man albums of 2021 so far video, so I'm gonna discuss from 1 to 7 what are the okay to meh albums on this list and let you know what I thought of each album and each song on the album. So let's start with number 1, which is Weezer with OK Human. Now this came out at the very beginning of the year in late January, and I thought it was okay. There were some iffy tracks like Bird with a Broken Wing. That was a decent song, but not good enough to give it a very good rating. Because there were some moments of cringe in the song. La Brea Tar Pits was actually not a bad way to close the album. Uh, what I liked about this album is it had originality. With the new Weezer album, Van Weezer, it's alright. It was an average album, but it wasn't very good. So Weezer has had some hits and misses with their records, but mostly all my favorite songs was average, in my opinion. But keep in mind, it's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me on it. Just how I felt when I was listening to the album. Um, but other than that, I think Weezer's OK Human was okay. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. It is a very low rating, but it made it on this Okay to Man albums list, so at least it's not horrible. That's a good thing. So yeah, at number 1 I picked Weezer with OK Human. Number 2 I picked A Day to Remember with You're Welcome. Now, I did give it a 7 out of 10 last time I remember, but now the album's started to drift down for me, meaning I'm bringing the rating down a little bit more to where I'm not sure what I really think of it now, because it's meh. Uh, there's some songs on here that are not so bad, but the songs that have money in it, yeah, that can be a problem with how you're going about it and how you perceive the album and what you think of it when listening to it. Bloodsucker was a bad song, to be honest. It it was not good. It was just disappointing. I kept listening to it over and over again, and I've found myself drifting away from that song, meaning not liking it as much as I thought I did at the time I reviewed it. So now, looking back on this album and repeated listens of this album, it's not very good. So it's meh. Last Chance to Dance, Bad Friend. It's probably going to be the only good song you're going to find on this album. Brick Wall was quite annoying. Uh, it it was fine through I think 2 to 3 minutes of the section. Then when it just does that repeated guitar riff and drum work, that can get a little annoying after a while. Uh, but Mind Reader's alright. Um, like I said, High Diving is a little cringy to listen through, but it was okay. It wasn't great. Um, Resentment is one of my favorite songs. And Looks Like Hell was okay. It wasn't terrible, it was just okay. Viva La Mexico was somewhat cringy, but it was okay. Um, and Only Money, I like the lyrics in it, but yeah, I don't know. This album really fell apart for me. Like, I'm almost ready to sell this album, to be honest. I'm trying to sell this album, but yeah, I made a mistake of buying this album. But yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10 now, because it's meh. So at number 2, I picked A Day to Remember with You're Welcome. Like I said, the album's meh, but it really fell off for me after repeated listens, so I've never really come back to it as much. I come back to it occasionally, but not frequently. But at number 3, I picked Escape the Fate with Chemical Warfare. This album was okay. Um, I thought at the time when I listened to it, I wasn't really liking how Craig Mabbitt's vocals was sounding in this album. And Unbreakable is one of the cringiest songs on the album. Chemical Warfare is okay. The only song I really didn't like was Erase You. That one was iffy. And then there was other songs like Burn the Bridges, which had a rapping verse from Craig Mabbitt at the beginning of the song, and that was full of cringe. I was like, oh god, no. But the rest of the song did alright. Demons was alright, and there were some other songs on here that were iffy too. Like Invincible was good. Hand Grenade I'm starting to really like now after listening to it more. I don't like the way Craig Mabbitt is singing the song at times with the Can't Hold On Yesterday's Gone lyric. I was like cringing at that lyric. But for what Hand Grenade was going for, it was alright. And then pretty much the ending to the album wasn't so bad, but iffy, depending on how you view the album and what you think of it. But keep in mind, it's just my opinion on what I thought of this album, but it made it on this list. So at number 3, I picked Escape the Fate with Chemical Warfare. Number 4, I picked Greta Van Fleet with The Battle at Garden's Gate. This one was meh. The first song was really good, but then the rest of the record, I haven't really come back to this album, to be honest. I don't hate it, I think it's meh. It's not gonna be on the best spot on this list at the end of the year, but it'll be at an okay spot. Heat Above was one of my favorite songs. Sorry that my throat's getting scratchy. Sorry for coughing. My throat got very scratchy. So yeah, Heat Above was not a bad song. Then comes a few other songs after that, like what was that song? My Way Soon. That was okay. It wasn't my favorite song, to be honest. I just felt what I really think of them is they're copying Led Zeppelin. That is what I think of them. I know there's a lot of people saying that they're copying them. And then there's another group of people that are saying no, they're trying to do their own thing, which I can understand that they did try something new with Heat Above. That was the only newest thing I heard from them, but it did have some rip-off kind of sounds to it. It made it feel like a Rush song. When my mom listened to that song the first time, she was like, "Oh, this sounds like Rush." And I'm like, maybe. But if you give the song a few more listens, you'll start to come to enjoy it. So Greta Van Fleet's not a bad band, but they're okay. They're not the best band I've heard. So they do have some slight problems where they rip other bands' melodies and sounds off. meaning they are kind of rip-offs of other bands' music and all that, making it sound like they're sounding like the same band. But that's just my opinion. That's what I think of them. You don't have to agree with me on it. It's just how I felt when I was listening to this Battle at the Garden's Gate album. But it was different from the last album. So that was a plus. The last album wasn't very good. Uh, at number 4, I picked Greta Van Fleet with the Battle at Garden's Gate. Number 5, I picked Water Parks with Greatest Hits. Now, this was it was okay. There were some songs on here that were kind of cringe, like Fruit Roll-Ups was kind of cringe. Um, from 1 to 10, the album was going fine until the last 7 songs. That's where the album started to get cringy. Like It was not very good. Gladiator was fine, the interlude. And also Magnetic it's growing on me, but not to the point where I'm really liking it. But the last 3 songs were fine. See You in the Future was kind of cringy, to be honest. I didn't like Austin Knight's rapping in it. But like I said, the first 10 songs were fine. The second half of it, after You Be Paranoid Too If Everyone Was Out to Get You song, after that song, that's where the album started to fall flat. But that's just my opinion. At number 5, I picked Water Parks with Greatest Hits. Number 6, I picked Yev's Tumor with the Asymptotical World EP. This one was okay. I did give it a 7.5, but I wasn't really a fan of this guy's music. I was just cringing at some moments in this EP. Like, Jackie was a little cringy, to be honest. I gave it a 3.5, but now I'd give it a 3, because it's meh. It's not a very good song, to be honest. But that's just my opinion, and I kind of do have to wrap this video up pretty shortly. But I wanted to talk about some things with this EP. The other songs were okay, but not great enough to give it a very good rating, so I gave it a 6.5 now that I listened to it a little more. So, at number 6, I picked Yev's Tumor with the Asymptotical World EP. Number 7, finally, I picked Black Bear with Misery Lake Extended Play. The first song was very good, Alone in a Room Full of People. And then At My Worst was alright. Then comes You Love You, which is a little cringy. I didn't like the featured artists in that song, Tate McRae. And then after that, it's goes to Ghost Town, and that wasn't a bad song. I'm sorry, I got a notification saying to update my Windows 10 to another Windows version. Bad Day was one of the worst songs on this album. It was just disappointing. And the problem I have with Black Bear now is that he's whining too much in his songs and complaining. That's just how I view this artist now. After listening to this Misery Lake EP, I'm like, do you ever talk about something positive, dude? Because it seems like you just talk about stuff that you feel down about. I'm like, find something positive that you like. Because most of these songs just sound so basic. But I did like certain songs on this EP. So at number 7, I played Black Bear with Misery Lake. I'm gonna have to end this video here right now by saying thank you so much for watching this Okay to Man albums of 2021 so far. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, take care, and as always, I'll see you in my next video.